Hello my crafty friends, welcome to episode 12 of the Salapaloosa Knits videocast. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome and thank you for giving my podcast a shot. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and for choosing to spend a little bit of your crafty time with me. This is a video podcast about knitting with sometimes some different bits and bobs as well. For instance, this week I have a little bit of sewing. Yes, other than that, this is going to be all knitting all the way. If you want to get in touch with me, I am Salapaloosa Knits on Instagram. That is absolutely where I am most active. And I am Salapaloosa on Ravelry, and if you have any questions or inquiries or anything like that, please feel free to pop me an email at salapaloosanknits@gmail.com. What else? Yes, the podcast has a Ravelry group, which is Salapaloosa Knits Podcast, and do pop on over and join the group, and please, if you want to, feel free to write a little bit about yourself in the introductions thread, because I love reading them and getting to know you guys a little bit better. And yes, I think it's a lot of fun and I hope you do too. So head on over there and join. Yeah, what else? My name is Elizabeth and I'm coming to you from the western part of Norway in a city called Bergen. And this is where I live and where I study psychology. I live with my wonderful boyfriend. I also work in the psychiatry field. Yes, I know a couple of you wanted to know a little bit more about my studies and my work, and I will make sure to talk a little bit about that in a later episode. But this week I don't think we're going to have the time, just because there's so much I want to go through with you today, and it's already pretty packed. As far as my work is concerned, I might not be able to talk too much about that just because of the nature of my job, really. But I can absolutely talk to you about my psychology studies if you'd like. But later, another time. Yes, grab your knitting and your preferred cozy beverage and we'll just jump right into the nitty-gritty. I'm having some coffee today out of one of my Miss Etui mugs. Yes, I really love this mug and the coffee is pretty good too. It's just an espresso coffee, and as always I cannot remember the name of it. It's the orange capsule and it's really rounded and it's very good. I'm gonna have another sip. Alright, so let's just get started, shall we? First of all, can you tell that I am super excited? I'm practically jumping up and down and out of my chair here. I'm finding it kind of hard to sit still because I'm so extremely excited, and that is because my pattern is released. My new sock pattern is called the Mountain Rain Socks, and I'm just going to show you real quick what they look like, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about them. I'm probably going to pop in quite a few pictures as well, because they don't really look their best on a blocker. But here you have them on the blocker. They don't really look like much, I think, on the blocker. So let me show you one that's off the blocker. Now sorry if it looks a little bit wonky, but that's just how it is when it's off the blocker. Okay, so here is the front, and we've got these lace, this lace pattern going all the way down, and we've got this eyelet panel on each side, and this is the sides. So these eyelets continue from the side of the foot all the way up to the ankles, and this is the back. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. And yes, I will pop in some pictures as well, so hopefully you'll be able to see what they look like. So what can I say about them? I don't even know where to begin. Yes, let's just try to jump into it. So in the western part of Norway, where I live, there is a city that is sort of clambering up the mountainsides, and that is the city of Bergen. And it's a very luxuriant city, and it's overlooking the sea, and it's surrounded by 7 mountains, and it's over 900 years old. It's a Hanseatic city, and it's pretty much the rainiest city in the world. And this happens to be the city that I call home. So this city, surrounded by mountains and rain, gave the clear inspiration for this pattern. Now, as you can see, I'll pop some pictures in here. The pattern is sort of resemblance to the mountains that surround the city, and the eyelet rows are supposed to mimic the rain, or at least they're inspired by rain. So it's yeah, it's sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied already. I'm just really passionate about these socks, and I'm so happy that it's released, that it's sort of overloading my mind a little bit. Sorry about that. But anyways, they're called the mountain rain socks. They're a pretty romantic lace pattern, and I've written up 4 different sizes, and they are knit toe up, and they are knit out of fingering weight sock yarn, and this lovely sample right here is knit out of the wonderful Frostbite colorway by Stranded Dye Works. It's on her Oasis base. When I say her, that is of course the wonderful Amy of the Stranded podcast and Stranded Dye Works, and I absolutely adore her yarn, so I was very, very pleased to knit my pattern out of them. Yes, one more time, just so that you can see the colorway, because it is just amazing. It's this beautiful blue and purple speckled yarn. The socks are knit with an afterthought heel, and I know that a lot of people haven't really done the afterthought heel before, and I have added both a visual and a written instruction for that heel in the pattern. And of course, if you would like to substitute the heel for something else, a preferred heel that you might have, you can of course feel free to do that. But I do suggest that you give the afterthought heel a go if you haven't knitted before, because there's a lot of good reason to do so, and there's a lot of good reason why I chose this particular heel, and it is because I think it's a pretty wonderful heel, really. It's very practical, because it means that you can easily reinforce the heel, and if need be, the heel can be reknit without unraveling the entire sock. And it's excellent if you are working with yarn and not certain if you have enough yarn, and you can easily come back to the heel either with the yarn that you have knit the rest of the sock in, or with a contrasting heel if you happen to run out of yarn. And it's also a wonderful heel if you are using a self-striping yarn, because you don't have to disrupt the striping pattern, and you can come in and match up the heels pretty good. So a lot of reasons to try them out. Yes, those are the mountain rain socks. I will absolutely put a link to the pattern in the down bar and of course in the show notes, which can be found in the Ravelry group. And that sort of segues us into my works in progress a little bit, because I don't think that, no, I got this yarn after my latest episode, but so I'll show you the yarn first. This is the Just Rust colorway. It is by Bird Street UK and it is absolutely glorious. I got this skein and I could not keep my eyes off it. I knew I had to cast it on right away. It's just incredibly beautiful, and in the skein it looked so good, you guys. If you follow me on Instagram, you know how excited I was about this when it arrived, and I still am. So I cast on a pair of the Mountain Rain socks on this beautiful colorway, and I have one sock or sock tube finished. I have not put in the heel yet, but this is how it looks knit up, and I think that this colorway is just incredibly beautiful, and I do love the way that the pattern and the colorway sort of work together and complement each other in a really good way. I wanted to knit these with a contrasting heel toe and cuff, and I really wanted something that would complement the Just Rust colorway, and I didn't really have anything, so I dyed up this little ochre yellow to go with it, and I think that worked out really, really well. It just really accentuates the pops of yellow in the Just Rust colorway, and I love a bit of grello action, so I'm really loving the way that this is churning out, and I can't wait to put in the heel and try it on for fit. And yes, I can also say that on the cuff on this one, I actually reduced the stitch number. What did I do? Let me think. I reduced every fourth stitch, just because I usually feel like the cuff is too big, and socks tend to go a little bit wobbly around the ankles if I don't do that, so I'm glad I did. One more time. The pattern is the Mountain Rain socks, now available on Ravelry, yay! And the colorway is Just Rust by the amazing Bird Street UK. And yes, that's probably it for the Mountain Rain socks. Thank you so much to everyone who has sent me so much love and support in releasing my pattern, and a big shout out to my wonderful test knitters. A lot of them has added some pictures up on Instagram, so go check out the hashtag Mountain Rain socks if you want to have a little look-see and see how that turns out. And yes, they've all knit some pretty amazing socks, if I may say so myself, so do head over to Instagram and check them out. And yes, I really hope you like them. I will put the link to the pattern in the down bar. There we go. All right, now let's move on. I have a little FO to show you guys. Sorry, I just keep glancing down at my audio recorder, because it's looking like it's got a little bit not enough battery to go for very long, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if I have any more batteries. Hopefully I'll find some. Okay, so an FO, I'm just going to zoom really quickly through this because I've talked about it a lot previously. It's almost finished. We've got the little baby cardi. It's called the Raspberry Jacket, or Bringebærjakken in Norwegian. It's a design by Hoppestrik. Sorry about the little wobbles. It doesn't look very perfect because I haven't blocked it yet, and therefore I have not yet sewn in the ends either. I do prefer to sew in everything after I've blocked it so that you won't have any ends or wobbly bits sticking out after you've blocked it. And that way I feel like it feels more secure in a way. So yes, that's the little baby cardie. I've only left to block it, wash it and block it and secure the threads and put in the buttons. I'm thinking I might put some wooden buttons on it. I haven't exactly landed on which ones. I might put a little poll up on Instagram stories so you can chime in if I can't decide for myself. The yarn is Lerke by Cardigan or House of Yarn, and the colour is called Rosa, which is this lovely mauve colour. And I knit them out of Knit Pro Cubic Novas, and that's pretty much it. I think it's turning out pretty darn cute, if I might say so myself, and I can't wait to gift this. I knit the 6 month size. This is the back. I can't remember if I showed it. There we go. All right, moving on. Yes, so next up we've got some socks that I have. Let's see, is this the right project bag? Yes, it is. Some socks that I have shown off before, and they are the Naughty and Nice socks by Brandy Valty of Long Dog Yarns. Sorry if that is not how you pronounce your last name. And I have 2 sock tubes, and this is what they look like all knit up. We've got this lovely knotted stitch pattern, and I really enjoyed knitting them. There we go. So two lovely tubes, no heels. I'll have to put them in. It's going to happen, you guys. I know it's starting to look like a bit of a pattern, but the heels will be put in the socks, I'm sure. Now I knit these out of Knit Pro Carbons on 2.5mm needles because that was what the pattern called for. And oops, I just juggled the scale a little bit here. I'm not good at juggling. Here it is. This is the Urtla Mehifer colorway. It's by Garn Sur. It is absolutely spectacular. I love this yarn and I love working with it. I love the way that it's playing out with the Naughty and Nice socks pattern, and I absolutely would probably knit this pattern again. It feels like a vanilla pattern. You really don't need to pay that much attention. That's a lot of stockinette in between the pattern rows, so that's good. And it's a great pattern. It's a really great pattern. If you're looking for something that's just a little bit more than a vanilla sock pattern, then absolutely go and check them out. Naughty and Nice socks. I feel like I'm just zooming through a little bit here, but we have just so much stuff to get through, and I'm trying to talk faster than the battery drains, so we'll see how that works out. Okay, next up, you guys, I'm going to show you the project bag that this lives in real quick. It's just a little teaser because I'll talk about it in the acquisitions sections, but look at this. Isn't that beautiful? It is, I know. I'm so excited. Okay, so we've got a little brioche project happening here. This is the fingering brioche bandana cowl by Lavanya Patricella. Goodness, I don't know how to pronounce her name, and I always get it wrong. And I think I had it right during the last episode, but I seem to have forgotten again. Patricella, I don't know. Lavanya, it's a gorgeous pattern. Sorry about ruining your name. So, anyways, this is where I'm at. and I absolutely love it. I think it's a great pattern, it's really enjoyable, and I love the way it's turning out. So on the outside here, we've got the amazing, once again, amazing Bird Street UK. This is the Back to the Fuchsia colorway. It's this amazing green tonal with just some pops of fuchsia in there. And it is just incredible. This was another one of those skeins that I got in the mail and I just knew I had to cast it on immediately. And luckily enough, I had a skein that would go perfectly with it. And that's the contrasting color, which is this one. And it is called Armudselle. And it's this mauve tonal. It's by the brand Gansur. Again, there seems to be a pattern there as well. A lot of patterns this week. Yeah, so here's the contrasting color. I can just flip it out real quick and show you. There you go. So that's the contrasting. And one more time for the rose in the back. Oh, there we go. That's the fingering brioche bandana cowl, and I'm loving working on it. I'm knitting it on my Lykke fixed circular needles. These are the US 2.5, which is a 3mm needle, and I really love these needles. If you have watched my previous episodes, you know that I got one of the the interchangeable sets, and I really love it. So these needles are my favorite wooden needles and also my favorite interchangeables, which is not half bad for one type of needle, I'd say. Yes, I absolutely recommend the pattern. I'm very close to splitting it. I'm knitting in the round now, and at some point I'm going to knit it back and forth and make this sort of bandana style point down to it. And I'm very close. I think I have a round or two left before I do that, so that's going to be exciting. It's been quite a while since I knit brioche back and forth, so I'm a little bit worried about it, but hey ho, it's gonna work out. I'm sure it will. Yes, so that's that. I'll come back to the lovely drawstring project bag there. Alright, what's next? Yes, this is next. We got another sock for you guys. This feels like another sock parade week. It's just a basic vanilla sock, but it is knit out of Knit Picks Felici, so it's bright and bubbly and fun. Can an object be bubbly? You know, apart from carbonated drinks and stuff, or lava lamps. Did you guys have lava lamps? I always wanted one, but I never had one. I did, however, have one of those UFO lamps that looked like a UFO with these fibre optic threads, and it zoomed around and it made this really obnoxious sound when it twirled, but I was absolutely in love with it. Anyways, I digress. Bubbly socks! So this yarn is the Knit Picks Felici Hawaiian shirt colorway, and I think it's so much fun. This is the second sock. The first one is finished. I have shown that one off before, and I'm actually I think no, I haven't started, but I'm just about to start decreasing for the toe. Yes, and I think I will probably put in some contrasting heels on these. One more pair missing heels. My goodness, that really is a pattern theme this week. The week of the missing heels. Anyways, Knit Picks Felici, it's such a joy to knit with. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to cast on some more of them. They are just brilliant vanilla socks, pretty much. I love a good self-striping yarn, and the Felici yarn is just really reasonably priced, actually, more than reasonable. It's pretty cheap actually, and I mean, the colorways are just so much fun, and it's so playful, and it's really, really soft, and I can't wait to have these finished so I can wear them and snuggle up and feel cozy toes. We all love that. All right, so let's talk about some sewing. I'm sorry if I'm absolutely speeding here. I'm just keep glancing at the batteries and thinking, I don't think I have any more batteries. And it would be really bad if the sound just dropped in the middle of the episode, and yes, I'm not going to describe it any further. Anyways, I did some sewing this week. I wished for a sewing machine for Christmas, and my wonderful boyfriend surprised me with the exact one that I wanted, which was one of the Singer Simple machines. It's been quite a while since I did any sewing. Yeah, so I just had to start somewhere that would not be too overwhelming, and the Singer machines are obviously a very good quality machine, and the Simple series are just really beginner friendly and really good, I think, if you have just picked up sewing again after a while. And it also happens to be really bright pink, which is super fun, and yes, I love it. I love a good pop of colour. Anyway, so what I've been sewing is just basically some project bags, and the first one is this one, which is this little whaley fabric, and I put in a little handle here because I love when project bags have handles on them, and I put in a grey zipper and some just really light lining. I have some light interfacing in here and a contrasting clasp on the inside with it's a little cookie stitch mark of that. That exact one is, let me think, it's by what's it called, Seasons Arts and Crafts, I think. I will put it in the show notes. Anyways, so it's just a simple little project bag for one skein project, like a pair of socks, which obviously I knit quite a few of, so that's a pretty good size for me. And I made a slightly bigger one, which is this one, and also with some light interfacing, just enough to make it stand up on its own and stiffen it up a little bit, but not too much so that it will get, you know, too stable, if you know what I mean. Just this lavender zipper in here and some beige linen contrasting fabric in there. I put the handle on there. It's the same as the contrasting inside fabric, and once again I put one of these little clasps on the inside to put stitch markers in, and yes, that's pretty much it. This one is a little bit larger than the other one, so I think I could probably get a 2 skein project in there pretty easily. Yes, both these fabric are bought at a store called Stoff and Steel, which, if you are Norwegian, you probably know which store that is. They have a lot of fabric and some yarn as well, and it's definitely the place to go to get fabric in Norway. Yes, and then there's one last little one, and this one is hosting my mountain rain socks. That's the yarn. This one, I'll put it back in here, and it is made out of this very, very charming Tilda fabric. I made this on Sunday and I absolutely love this bag. I think that the fabric is just so gorgeous. once again, I put a handle on top. There's a loose thread, don't want that. A little handle. I really love when project bag has handles. I put a bright red zipper in there, and I have a little pink macaron stitch marker hanging from the zipper, and I would just put some white contrasting in there with the quite busy outer side. I just wanted to keep it clean. Once again, a little clasp with the contrasting fabric. And can I just take a little second and be a little bit obnoxious here, because I want to show I'm so incredibly pleased with this seaming on this project bag. Look how that lined up. I mean, can you see that? Look, it's a little bit wobbly in the bottom because of the way I stuffed it, but that side seam, I'm just obnoxiously happy about the way that turned out. Maybe that's why I love this bag so much, but it's definitely got something to do with the beautiful fabric. It's a Tilda fabric. Yes, what else? I don't think that's anything else to say. I really love this size. It's quite small, but it's perfect for a pair of socks, and I can very easily pop it into my bag when I'm going out, so I can carry it around, which I love. And yes, that is a lot of fun to make as well. And obviously it doesn't necessarily have to be a project bag. I'm sure this would be absolutely perfect for like hair accessories and things like that when you're traveling. But of course I'm going to use it as a project bag. What else? Would you like to see that seaming again, or is that just me? There we go. I'm so happy with it. I'm sorry for being totally obnoxious, but I'm so excited about this one. Yes, so let's move on to some acquisitions before the battery runs out. A lot of battery talk today. Sounding a little bit obsessed. I'll have some coffee to calm my nerves. Isn't that how it works? All right, so acquisitions. I got this lovely little skein. It's not very little, it's a regular 100-gram skein. But this lovely bright and springy crocusy colour. This is by Tammy Wee Colours. It's an Etsy shop. She is based in, I want to say Germany. It might be the Netherlands, but I'm pretty sure, I'd say 98% sure that she is based in Germany, which is great for me living in Norway because the shipping is quick and not very expensive. So that's very good. It's a 4-ply sock yarn, and the colorway is Carla. I do have the card. Let's see. There we go. And I looked. I had to double check the type of yarn that this is, because on it just says 75/25 wool nylon, and it doesn't specify what type of wool. And it definitely feels sort of toothy and like I'm not sure what type of wool actually, but some sort of lamb's wool or something like that. But on the website, on the listing, it said merino. I would not have thought that this was merino if it didn't say so. So I'm sure it's going to soften up a little bit after washing. But it doesn't really matter that much to me. I absolutely love the way it looks, and I was planning on using this for socks, so it doesn't really matter if it is a merino or a different kind of wool. But I really love the way it looks and I'm really pleased with it. And yes, what else? Not much to say. I don't have a specific project in mind for this, but oh, look at that, goes with the flowers. Isn't that gorgeous? Can I just take a moment and show you these tulips? Because I think they're so beautiful. It's these double tulips, so they're sort of filled. So they look quite different from regular tulips. They almost look like peonies. And they are just too beautiful to pass. And they smell pretty good too. Tulips don't normally smell that much, but these are just lovely. And they work pretty well with this yarn. I'll have to think about what to do with it, but they do sort of scream socks to me, I must admit. And also because of the way that it's a little bit toothy, I do think that it would probably be best to use them for that. I also got a little ball of the Lang Super Socks cashmere yarn. I just couldn't really pass this colour. I thought that it was just so beautiful, and although it's sort of layered with oranges and pinks, it still feels very calm to me. The colourway isn't very busy, and the Super Socks cashmere has how much is it again? It's 10% cashmere and 65% virgin wool and 25% polyamide or nylon, but it definitely feels like more than 10% of cashmere. That cashmere absolutely makes a huge difference. And yes, this is a 100-gram ball, and that equals about 380 meters. And I have used this yarn before in a different color, and I really enjoyed it. Out of the sort of easy to get your hands on commercial sock yarns, I really love this one. It's one of my absolute favorites now, probably alongside with the Knit Picks Felici yarn. So there you go, not bad. And again, this is most certainly going to be some socks. Oh, things keep falling on the floor. Sorry if that made a lot of noise. Let's see. I got also, while we're talking about yarn, I really want to show you this little mini that I got from Claire and Mr. B, who is Bird Street UK. And I mean, can you just, do you see how beautiful this is? I love this so much. And when I ordered the Just Trust colorway, I was incredibly lucky and fortunate enough that they gifted this to me with my order. And that just absolutely made my day. I had a really terrible day. It was one of those days where absolutely everything went wrong, and then I got home and checked the mail, and all of a sudden everything was looking sorry about that, everything was looking up, and it just made me so happy, and it still honestly makes me incredibly happy every time I look at it. And if you haven't checked out Bird Street UK, well, if you haven't checked out the Bird Street UK Etsy shop, you absolutely need to do so right away. If you pause the podcast and head on over there, I don't care, just make sure that you do check them out. All their colorways are just absolutely incredible, and every one of them has been even more amazing in person than what they were online. And yes, so don't hesitate, go feed your yarn monster and buy their yarn. And yes, so that's that. Let's see what else. I can see that the battery thingy is starting to blink, so I think I might need to pause this and go on a bit of a battery hunt. I'll be back in a minute. All right, we are back. So I found a battery in one of our flashlights, and hopefully I'll remember to put it back. Yes, where were we? Yes, I just show you that little adorable mini skein. Once again, go on over to Bird Street UK. They are just amazing, and I absolutely love everything that they do. And yes, I'm probably the biggest fan, but you should be too, because they are amazing. Yes, go and feed your yarn monster. What's next? Yes, I remember what's next. I can feel like my show notes probably isn't the best today. It's Wednesday today, and I was absolutely planning on filming yesterday, but I had some terrible migraines, and because of that I was unable to record, and I'm really sleepy today. I usually get very sleepy after I've had a migraine, and my brain is feeling a little bit fried, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit all over the place today, but that makes writing the show notes, that was a little bit chaotic as well, because I sort of just scrambled them down in a hurry so that I could just get recording, which may not have been the best idea, but so far so good, right? This isn't that bad. What I want to talk to you about are some new needles that I got, and I'm quite excited about them. These are, I think I'm just going to maybe do a little review about these, a review of these right away. I've knit the entire Mountain Rain sock out of these needles, and it was just an absolute pleasure. And the needles in question, sorry, I got a hair somewhere. Something's tickling my face. All right. Yes, the needles are these crazy things. What? I know. They are wild. Look at that. These are the Addy Flexi Flips, and the amazing and lovable and beautiful Tristan of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe podcast, she mentioned that she had gotten these and that she really enjoyed them, and I immediately had to get some of them because they looked super exciting and I really wanted to test them out. And so I ordered a pair, and I got the 2.25 millimeters, and I pretty much wanted the 2 millimeter, but they were out, so I got the 2.25, and they have been really, really fun to test out. So what these are, they're basically like a cross between DPNs and circular needles. So the metal needles themselves are about 3.5 inches, which is about 9 centimeters, and they are connected by this short 1-inch cable, or 2.5 centimeter cable there in the middle, and then there's another needle on the other side, and that adds up to a total length from tip to tip at 8 inches or 20 centimeters. Yes, and the joints are very smooth and flexible, and the cords are very smooth and flexible as well. And so the way you use these are basically you distribute your stitches amongst these 2 needles, and then you knit your stitches with the 3rd one. So that results in only 2 needle changes per row instead of 4, which you would have to do if you were using regular DPNs, where you have 4 needles and then the 5th one to knit with. And here you have 2 and 1 to knit with, because of the way that they are constructed with this crazy flexi flip thing. That works really well. And another thing that I really liked about these, let me just put 2 of them down so I can show you a little bit closer here. They have 2 different tips on them. So there's, I don't know how it's easy to see, but one of the tips are the Addy Rocket tips, and the other one are the Addy Turbo tips. And the turbos are quite a bit pointier. It doesn't really show very well, but you can feel it quite easily. So the Addy Turbos, no, sorry, the Addy Rockets, they are a little blunter needle, and on the other side you have the Addy Turbo tip. Yes, Addy Turbo tip, and that's a lot pointier. So that way you'll always sort of have the right needle in hand when you're working with something, which is brilliant if you're working with a, say a stockinette, or a sock that has a lace pattern and a stockinette part or something like that. Then you can, if you prefer the blunter needles for your stockinette, then you can use that side on the stockinette row, and if you prefer the sharper needles on the lace part, like most people do, you can use the turbo tip. And yes, I think they also would make a really good cable needle, because you can put the stitches right in this little flexi cable thingy. Yeah, and what else? I guess if you don't, if you like magic loop but you don't like the cord, then I keep wanking. That was the wrong word. Sorry about that. I keep wagging the microphone. Should I censor that out? I'm sorry. I keep on wagging the microphone around. Excuse me. Oh, that was funny. Sorry if you have any kids that are watching. I'm usually very squeaky clean on the podcast, in case people have children listening. Did I just go a little red in the face right now? I think I might be. I'm just gonna have a sip of ice cold coffee to gather myself again. And also now we have the batteries back, so I don't really need to worry about the battery running out, so I can speak a little bit calmer, which I guess is good for everyone. Yeah. Anyways, pull yourself together, Elizabeth. Where was I? Yeah, look at those. I'm just going to show you these for a second so I can gather my thoughts. Giving you away all the secret sauce here. Yes, so what I was saying is that if you like magic loop but you don't enjoy the cord all the time, then you would probably like these needles. Or if you like DPNs but you wish you could use fewer needles, I guess, then you should probably use them. What I don't particularly like is that the needle size is printed on the metal needle, and it's printed in this incredibly pale silver color, which makes it close to impossible to read. And if you have one set of these, I guess it's not really that big a deal. You would probably know what size you have. But seeing that I really enjoyed knitting the socks on these, I ordered a second set. And those were the 2mm or the US size 0 needles. These are size 1. Which is probably going to make it a little bit more challenging. So I'll have to find a way to brand them somehow. Maybe I should I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll think of something. What else? Yes, if you prefer to knit your socks 2 at a time, obviously you can't do that with these needles, but they are absolutely worth a try. I highly enjoyed them, which is the reason why I decided to get another set, because I had a feeling that the socks that I would knit on these needles would tend to be prioritized a little bit. Yes, I will however say that it was a little bit wonky in the beginning when I knit the toe up, which makes sort of this shape on the toe. So when you're all the way down here, imagine that this is a toe. When you're knitting this part and it's very few stitches, then it definitely felt a little weird with all these sort of cables flopping around, and yeah, but I had a feeling that it would all work out fine when there were a little bit more stitches on the needles, and I'm glad I stuck with it, because now I'm really enjoying them, and I do recommend that you give them a go if you're looking for a new set of needles. I will link to the Etsy shop where I got these. I got them on Etsy. I think the shop is called Fiber Quirky, but I'm not entirely sure. I will put it in there. I'll put it in the show notes either way. And they were not particularly inexpensive, I will say that, but they're not ridiculously expensive either. I do think that they seem like a very good quality. The joints are very smooth, and I love the flexibility of this cable. So I think it's probably a good buy if you like trying all the things and trying something new. Yes, so that's my little Addy flexi flip review, and yes, I hope you enjoyed that, and that it wasn't too much information. I'm usually very thorough in a lot of the things that I do, so if I'm going to talk about these needles, I'm pretty much going to talk about everything that I can think of to say about them, but I've tried to eliminate my rambling to a minimum and just talk about the things that might be the most interesting for the most amount of people. So there you have it, Addy Flexi Flips. They're a lot of fun, and go try them out if you want to. Yes, let's just jump right into that stunning project bag that I've been teasing you with all episode. Excuse me while I have another little sip. And brush my hair out of the microphone there. So this beautiful project bag I got from the Etsy shop Handmade by Janie, and this is one of my absolute favorites. It's this bucket bag style project bag with the drawstring, and it's got this lovely green silk ribbon. I'm guessing that it's not silk, but you know what I mean. Silky ribbon. And let me show you the insides. Well, first I can comment on the beautiful fabric on the outside. It's got birds and butterflies and flowers on it, and sort of this imprint of old postcards in the background, and yeah, it's just very charming. But look at this. Aha! It's also got a lovely contrasting fabric, which is this green fabric with darker green branches and white birds inside. And when I've been working on this, I've been folding it down, and it's just been sort of resting on the yarn cakes, which I've sort of pushed down in the bottom here. But this bag is reversible as well, so I could absolutely flip it around and use it with the green fabric out, which would be equally beautiful, I think. And what I also really loved well, it's not, I'm just going to, I have to retract that a little bit, because there is a little tag inside, so it's not, I guess it's not entirely reversible, but if you don't mind the tag, then it is. And let me see, where has that gone? There you have it. Inside is this a lovely little lavender sachet that is made out of the same fabric as the contrasting inside fabric. And I love lavender, and I usually carry around different lavender sachets that I just stitched up real quickly in all of my project bags, because I love the way that that it makes my knitting smell, and it's sort of aromatherapy almost, to get that lovely smell of lavender while you're working and knitting, and just that feeling when you pick up the bag to start something and you open it and that fresh scent of lovely fragrant lavender hits you. It's just lovely. I can just feel myself now sort of squishing this to release some of the fragrance. Yes, I've also got this little sachets of rosebuds that my mother-in-law got in when they were in the south of France, and they also are incredibly fragrant of rose and rose petals, and I keep them in my yarn baskets. And yes, lavender is also excellent if you live in a place with like in the UK, where there tends to be a little bit of moths and things like that. To protect your yarn, you can put some lavender in there, which is what I do and I love. We're lucky enough to not really have any moths in Norway. It's rather rare, so I pretty much only use the lavender for the joy of the fragrance. But it's a little sort of a day-to-day luxury, really. It's just one of those little things that brings you joy and happiness. So that's all very good. Anyways, that's the bag, handmade by Janie. It's super well made, and I highly recommend checking out her store. She's got a lot of beautiful bags in her shop, and of course I will link to it in the show notes. Alright, so I was going to talk about a little bit about the newest edition of the Lane magazine. I was thinking maybe I should maybe drop it, because there we go. We're running out of time, but I can talk about it real quick, because I finally got to pick up the latest edition of the Lane, amazing Lane magazine. This is issue number 4. It is winter spring 2018, and I cannot recommend this booklet or magazine, or whatever you're going to call it. I guess it's a magazine. I cannot recommend it enough. The aesthetic in here is just absolutely gorgeous, and snuggling up in my favorite spot with some wonderful aromatic candles and a nice hot beverage, or maybe a glass of wine, and just snuggled up with these sheepskin rugs that I keep pretty much everywhere, and in a big woolen blanket, and just having a little bit of calm me time and reading this. It just brings me so much joy. The aesthetic of the magazine is incredible. It's sort of a little bit moody, if you know what I mean. Just the colours, they are sort of sedated and dark and grey and a little gloomy, but I think that it's just so beautiful. And there's some brilliant interviews in here, and the photography is always just amazing. There's an interview with Jared Flood, and they were at La Bien-Aimée in Paris, and there are some amazing patterns as well, and I really want to make this one. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that beautiful cardi there. And it is called Kate, and it is designed by Libby Johnson. And I think it's just incredibly beautiful. Another one that I really want to make is the Magnolia sweater, which is this one. Can you see that? Yeah. And it is designed by Camilla Vard. And it's so beautiful. It's just worth every penny. And there's usually a couple of there's always, I think, a couple of recipes in here, and there's usually one for a drink of some sort. So this issue, it's hot chocolate with orange liqueur, which sounds incredible, and I love the orange chocolate combination. I know that it's a lot of people don't like it, and it's a bit of a love or hate thing, but I absolutely love it. And there's some Nordic cinnamon rolls, which if you've never had sort of Scandinavian cinnamon rolls, then I feel sorry for you. You've really missed out on something wonderful in life. And I also want to show you real quick this beautiful sock pattern by Helen Stewart, and it's called Fragment. Look at that. I want to make that one as well. So I pretty much want to make all the things in this issue, all the food, all the knitwear, and I love it so much. I think I'll have to set up a subscription for this magazine, because I know that I will love it, and it will be a worthwhile investment. So if you haven't checked out the latest issue, go and get it. It's absolutely beautiful. Yes, moving on. On to the final part of the acquisitions. I'm going to try not to ramble on for too long about this, but I am so excited, you guys. I'm just going to have a quick sip. So there's this maker that I've been drooling over, or not, I haven't been drooling over the maker, but I've been drooling over her pictures on Instagram, and that is the Instagram account called Karolevishna. I'm terribly sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce that, but Karolevishna, that's the name. And the wonderful maker behind it is Eugenia, and she has this Etsy shop called Million Dots, and she makes the most incredible sewing pins and stitch markers that I have ever seen in my entire life. They are just breathtakingly beautiful, and I have been like frantically following everything that she posts, and I think I've even saved a bunch of the pictures on my Instagram just so that I could go back to them and look at them real quickly, just because of the way that they were so beautiful and just incredible to look at. And I don't know, that may sound weird to you, but I'm one of those people that sort of I don't know how to say that without sounding really ridiculous, but I respond really well to sort of all kinds of aesthetics, so art and photography and just colors and flowers and all those things. Anything that's just visually pleasing to me, that gives me a lot of sort of calmness and joy, and yeah, anyways, so I saved some of the pictures just because I loved her aesthetic, and it just made me calm to look at, pretty much. And I was lucky enough to place a custom order with her, and I'm just going to start showing you these. I'll just show them off one by one, because they are just, yeah, I'm just going to show you. You'll see what I mean. First of all, she had a lot of different beautiful stitch markers, so it was really difficult to choose, because obviously I wanted to get every single one of them. But we have very strict tax regulations in Norway, so importing goods from other countries needs to not excess a certain amount before you are very heavily taxed on it. So I had to sort of, yeah, I had to limit myself a little bit. But I chose some of my absolute favorite things to get. So first of all is a raspberry, which I love. Can you see how lifelike that is? How incredibly beautiful that is. Raspberry, that's one. And my favorite flower. It's a peony. Look at these leaves, you guys. Sorry about my not so beautiful nails. I don't even know what to say. I think they are so amazing. We have a fly amantia. If you're Norwegian, this is fluesopp. If you could just see the details. I don't know how well this comes through, but the detailing on these are just absolutely out of this world. It looks so lifelike. It's just it's just breathtakingly beautiful. Now obviously a fly amantia, it's not one of my favorite things. They are incredibly poisonous, but I feel like it represents sort of the woods and autumn, and sort of autumn walks on the mountains and in the woods, and that is something that I do love. And I do love mushrooms to eat as well, just not the poisonous ones. And next up, another one of my favorite treats. It's a little ice cream cone with some strawberry ice cream with chocolate on top and a little cherry on top of that. Again, I hope that this incredible amount of detail comes through on camera. And just look at that glossy chocolate on top, and hopefully you can see that the texture is completely different on the ice cream and on the cone as well. I honestly don't know what to say. It's so beautiful. It just takes my breath away. Okay, next one. Macarons. I love macarons, and I love pistachio, and pistachio macaron is one of my favorites, so I couldn't leave that one. It's so beautiful. Sorry if I'm totally obnoxious here showing this off like that, but I really wanted you guys to see this and go support her, because I mean, someone made these. Can you imagine? we have a little donut with sprinkles. Again, that beautiful glossy frosting on top, which looks so real and edible. It's hard not to take a bite out of it. And then we have, I got quite a few of these. I got lemon with a little leaf on that. They keep wobbling around so you don't see them. There you go. A lemon. And lemon is pretty much my... If I had to pick one isolated flavor, then lemon would probably be my favorite. I love everything with lemon and everything lemony. So I needed the little lemon. Yes. And finally, I got this incredible cupcake. I'm actually going to stand up so that I know you can see this properly. Okay, there we have it. We've got a little frosted cupcake with berries and leaves on top. Have you ever seen something that adorable? I love it so much. And she was sweet enough to send me a little green leaf as well, just as a little extra gift, which I love. And I love flowers and green big plants and trees and everything like that. So I felt like this also highly sort of represented one of my favorite things, which made me incredibly happy. And thank you so much, Eugenia. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Yes, they are so beautiful. And her packaging was incredibly charming. They came in this little simple cardboard box, really, but there were this, let me just see if I have it right here, because I have been having it right here. No, I guess it moved. Sorry if that made any noise. Yes, anyways, there was this big pink feather in there as well, and that I thought that was so much fun, and it made me smile, and that's always a good thing. Yes, so those were the incredible stitch markers, and I must say that those are probably one of the favorite things that I have ever bought in my entire life. I'm so thrilled. And yes, they are all stitch markers with a little ring on them, but I think, let's see, you can't see that, there we go, but I think that I might attach some lobster clasps to some of them, so that I can put them directly on my knitting. Yes, those are all of the acquisitions this week. Yes, what else? Is that pretty much it? I think that we're almost there, actually. If you are just here for all the knitty goodness, then feel free to log off. If not, I'm going to ramble on a little bit about other things and my week. Yes, like I said, I had a pretty bad migraine yesterday. I've had migraines since I was a little girl, and a lot of people in my family do have them, and I'm on some medication that helps quite a bit, so luckily I don't really, it's not as big of a problem now as it has been in the past, but when I do get a migraine, it's still pretty horrendous, if I'm being completely honest, and I basically can't move because of the pain of it. So that's not fun, and afterwards I get really, really hungry and really, really sleepy, and so today my brain feels a little bit fried and I'm just very, very sleepy. But it's good, it's over now, so it's no worries, and hopefully it'll be well to next time. Yes, what else? We watched a movie that was really good about a week ago, and it was called Darkest Hour, which is a war drama film, and it stars Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill, and it's pretty much an account of his early days as Prime Minister, and during the time when Nazi Germany swept across Western Europe and was threatening to defeat the United Kingdom during World War II. And it was really good, and when we were watching it I kept interrupting and exclaiming that Gary Oldman should absolutely get an Academy Award for his performance. He is so good in this film. And yeah, it turns out that I wasn't the only one who thought that, because he did end up getting an Academy Award for Best Male Actor for his performance in that film a couple of days ago. So that was very well deserved, and I'm very pleased with that. Well, I'm very pleased with him winning, I mean. Yeah, so if you like those sort of historical drama films, then absolutely check it out. It was really good. And I have once again been binging MasterChef, more precisely MasterChef Australia, which I talked a little bit about last week, and I'm still just completely hooked on that show. This week is particularly exciting because it's Heston week, which is a bit of a pinnacle in the MasterChef seasons. Now, if you don't know, if you have never watched MasterChef, or if you don't know who Heston is, his name is Heston Blumenthal, and he is an Australian, and he has the restaurant The Fat Duck in the UK, which has been rated the #1 restaurant on the World's 50 Best Restaurant lists. And he also has dinner in London, which is another great restaurant. And he's really famous for sort of molecular gastronomy and a lot of experimental cooking and food pairings and sort of multi-sensory cooking, which is basically adding, for instance, auditive or olfactory dimensions to your food. And I think that is incredibly exciting, and I love that. I love a bit of theatre with my dessert. Who doesn't? Yeah, if I don't think I've said this before, but I'm definitely a bit of a foodie. I love cooking, and both me and my boyfriend love traveling places and trying out exciting new restaurants and things like that. And we're really into sort of the Michelin guide and yeah, all those weird things. So anyways, I have a lot of fun watching the MasterChef Australia. The level on the cooks are just incredibly high, and it's just really inspirational and fun to watch. Yeah, I've also got this weird palate that sort of, when I taste something, I sort of can tell the ingredients, like all the spices and the type of fat that's in it, if it's what kind of oil or butter or all those weird things. So I guess that might be a reason why I turned out to have a bit of interest in food as well, because yes, my palate is a little strange. Yeah, so that's that. What else? Yeah, I don't know that that's actually anything else that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I have no idea how long I've been talking, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be a bit of a long episode this week. I hope that's okay. Yes, and speaking of food, I should probably wrap this up because I need to get ready for some afternoon coffee and maybe a bite of cake with one of my friends. Yes, so that's that. I think that's it for this week. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. I hope you have a lovely knitty week. Bye.